Hey there, my friends. Philip Mershon here, welcoming you back to the Mid-Century Vault. Today, we're going to muscle our way over to the popular table of the school cafeteria of the 50s, 60s, and 70s and open up our lunch boxes. Trade you one of my Twinkies for one of your Ho-Hos. Now, before television became the household staple it did, lunch boxes were pretty utilitarian, right? Though Mickey Mouse did have a licensed lunchbox way back in 1935, but the real game changer came in 1950 with the Hop-Along Cassidy lunchbox, and it kicked off the pop culture lunchbox craze. Suddenly, carrying your lunch wasn't about sustenance, it was a statement. It was about showing off your favorite cowboy hero to all your friends. The TV show Lunchbox was born. And the 50s and 60s saw an explosion of the darn things. The manufacturers Aladdin and Thermos were now regularly duking it out to see who'd get the licensing rights to the hottest new shows. And let me tell you, the variety was incredible. You had everything from westerns like Roy Rogers and Bonanza, beloved cartoons like the Flintstones and the Jetsons. Oh, and let's not forget about the comedies like Beverly Hillbillies and Get Smart. Kids had to have the latest and the greatest, which was brilliant for business because it meant that parents needed to buy a new one almost every year. Now, did I have one? Well, for most of my childhood, I had to admire this mind-blowing merchandise magnificence from the sidelines. See, both of my parents worked, and it was just a lot easier for them to simply leave me the 35 cents each morning to buy a hot lunch from the cafeteria line. If I could still get lunch for 35 cents, I might even try to stomach the Salisbury steak again. But for 1 year, my mother tried the housewife bit, and with that, felt it her duty to send me off with a nutritious home-packed lunch. All of this, by the way, was decided without my knowledge or my input, and my dad went out to get my lunchbox. Now, listen, I loved my dad, but he had the absolute worst taste in what was cool for kids. This was 1966. I was 7 and I was entering the 2nd grade. Had I known about any of this, I would have strongly lobbied for a Batman lunchbox and would have gladly accepted a runner-up choice of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. But what did my dad present me with an ear-to-ear grin on his face? Ready? Gomer Pyle USMC. This headlong transgression into nerddom could have gotten me banished from the cafeteria altogether if it weren't for my winning personality and utter charm. And as the red hot trend continued into the 70s, we got shows like The Partridge Family, Happy Days, and Emergency on these tin treasures. And we can't forget the sci-fi explosion of the late 70s with Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica boxes. They were always little miniature works of art, reflecting the popular culture of its time. Now you might be wondering, are these metal marvels still made today? Well, for the most part, the golden age of the metal lunchbox faded out by the mid-80s. Plastic became cheaper to produce, and there was even talk that parents complained metal lunchboxes could be used as weapons on the playground. Timmy, put down that $6 million man lunchbox. So, while you'll find plenty of soft-sided insulated lunch bags now, the classic metal TV show lunchbox is largely a thing of the past, not counting promotional reproductions. But that doesn't mean they've disappeared. Oh no, in fact, these vintage beauties are highly collectible. The value is based on the rarity, the condition, and of course the popularity of the show. It's reported that in 2018, a Superman from 1954, which had the matching thermos, sold at auction for $16,000. What makes them so collectible? Well, beyond the monetary value, it's the nostalgia. These lunchboxes are like little time capsules transporting us back to a time of Saturday morning cartoons and running home from school in time to watch an after-school special. So, a couple things I'd like to see in the comments today. First, if you're old enough to have had one of these lunchboxes from the era we covered today, what'd you have? And secondly, if you're too young to have lived in that era, but you had an unlimited budget to buy the vintage lunchbox of your dreams, what would you get? That's it for today. Thanks to all of you who support me and the work here via my Buy Me a Coffee link, conveniently located in the description box of this video. And I hope everyone will like, subscribe, and share this video with those you think will get a kick out of it. And until our next trip into the mid-century vault, maybe trade your Fritos for an apple.